This is the Board of Chiropractic Examiners. This meeting is being held by teleconference under the Government Code Section 11133. The date is November 22nd, 2021, and the time is 12:10 p.m. The members of the public that are listening and would like to provide public comment by telephone will be limited to 2 minutes unless, at the discretion of the board, circumstances require a longer period. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their allotted time to other members of the public to make comments. The board's paramount responsibility is to protect the health, welfare, and safety of the public through licensure, education, and enforcement in chiropractic care. Please be aware that this meeting is being audio recorded. Please turn off or silence all cell phones. We will now take a roll call of the board. I don't believe we've assigned anyone since Mr. Ruffino is no longer with the board. Dr. Paris, would you be able to call the roll?
Sure. Dr. Dion McLean.
Present.
Jeanette Cruz.
Present.
Dr. Lawrence Adams.
He's not with the meeting today.
Dr. Pamela Daniels.
Present.
Raphael Sweet.
Present.
And Dr. David Paris, present. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And with that established quorum, we will move on to agenda item number 2. Prior to going on to agenda item number 2, I just want to interject here and welcome our 2 new board members, Jeanette Cruz and Dr. Pamela Daniels. Just wanted to say an official welcome to the board. We look forward to serving with you to achieve the goals of the board. Agenda item number 2, public comment for items not on the agenda. The board may not discuss or take action on any of these matters during this public comment section, as they are not included on the agenda, except whether or not to place them on a future agenda. At this time, can you open it up for public comment for items that are not on the agenda, please?
This is the moderator, and we have opened the Q&A feature of WebEx. We are sharing instructions on the screen. If you'd like to make a public comment for items that are not on the agenda, you may click on the question mark icon, typically in the lower right corner of your WebEx screen, or on a mobile device behind the 3-dot other options icon. And then in the text box, hit the word comment and hit send. Comments will be taken in the order received. Each comment will have a 3-minute time limit. We'll give people a moment to locate that. And at this point, I do not see any requests for public comment. Shall I close the Q&A feature?
Actually, we'll keep that open for the next agenda item. Future agenda items.
Certainly.
The board may not discuss or take action again on any of the items raised by the public here. This is not that are not included on the current agenda, except to decide whether to put them on a future agenda. Again, moderator, would you kindly leave the Q&A feature open for public input?
Certainly, the feature is open. If you have input on future agenda items, you can type the word comment into the text box and click send, and comments will be taken in the order received. And I have no requests for public comment. Shall I close the feature?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
At this time, we'd like to move on to agenda item number 4, Executive Officer Recruitment and Selection Process. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to the DCA for their presentation and discussions and on possible actions.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Nicole Lay. I am the Chief of the Office of Human Resources with the Department of Consumer Affairs. I'm here to discuss the process for the Executive Officer Recruitment and Selection process. And part of that, we'll also talk about the revisions of the EO duty statement, recruitment announcement, and the action to appoint the EO search committee. A quick overview of the recruitment process. During today, the board will review, approve the duty statement and the recruitment announcements. Once the approval is received, that information will be put on the job advertisement. We usually advertise this position for about 30 days to get the candidate time to complete their application packages and submit them through the Office of Human Resources. Every Friday, when we receive applications, we'll share that with the 2 members of the search committee. The search committee members are responsible to review these applications and determine who will receive interviews and who will not. My office will assist the search committee after the 30 days application filing period, setting up interviews, reaching out to applicants who's qualified to get an interview with the search committee. The search committee would then select the finalists. This could be anywhere from 2 to 3 people that perform outstanding during the preliminary interview. And they, and they will be invited to conduct interview in front of the full board at the next board meetings. So pretty much that's the overview of the recruitment process. Based on my experience, sometimes the first 30 days, you may or may not get the candidate pool that the search committee will be comfortable to move forward. And we would then have to extend the application filing period. But that usually communication between my office and the search committee. About the appointment of the search committee. The committee will consist of 2 members, and what I would ask is that the members have the time to dedicate to this process. And I really want to make sure that you know it's not like a full-time job or anything, but on Friday, just dedicate some of your time to look at application that we submitted to you for your review. After the initial application filing period, make some time, 30 minutes or so, for the members and us to discuss the applications and setting up time and locations for interviews. Interviews can be done remotely or it can be done in person. It's really up to the search committee, but you do need to make some time to do that. Also, the search committee should be people who have a good understanding of the board, what require of the executive officer, in order for them to select the right candidate to fit the position. And lastly, the duty statement and the recruitment announcement. Board members, you should have received a copy of the duty statement and recruitment announcement. We work very closely with Executive Officer Pulio in the revision for his duty statement, for the position's duty statement, because it has been a long time since the duty statement were updated. And more than anyone else, Executive Officer Pulio understands the work and what comes with that position as well, duties and responsibility. So hopefully you have had a chance to look at both of them and we can have a quick discussion on whether or not you have any more edits or we can get approval. So with that, I'd like to turn it to the board to discuss the process to appoint the search committee, 2 members.
Thank you, Ms. Slay. So At this time, I want to ask who would be interested in being on the search committee. I think that it's appropriate for myself to be on that committee as well. And I wanted to find out if the other board members, I know that we're pretty new with our membership, but if anyone has any input or insight or would like to discuss being on that committee as well, then you may chime in at any time now.
This is Dr. Paris. I have interest in being on the search committee, and I think I have I can fulfill the time requirements. I heard Fridays, which if that's actually a good day for me, if that ends up being the day where we meet most often, or if that's a preferred day of the week. So I just want to put my interest out there.
And so I have a couple of questions, Ms. Lay. So you mentioned that on Fridays, would that be every Friday? Would that be approximately how much time of a commitment would we need to? And you said that you'd put this out. So would this start after how long until we would actually actively start? Because I know that you have to put the announcement out and give it some time.
Absolutely. So for this week, we wouldn't count. And so I anticipate the announcement will come out early next week, which is, let's just say target date is November 29th. The first Friday you will receive in notification from us will be Friday, December the 3rd. Typically, very normal that the first 2 weeks you might not receive any application. We still will give you an email to let you know no application received. But when you start receiving applications, the amount of time it will take you is really the amount of time that you need to review those applications. Applicant will be asked to tailor their discussion to what we will be putting on the recruitment announcement, which the board will be review and approve in a little bit. So it's really up to what applicant put in there and how quickly you go through those applications. The bulk of the time would be when it comes to we close the application filing period. At that point, we do need to have a lot more contact. For example, I would be reaching out and I would ask you, how's the applications go? Do we need to have a quick discussion to set up preliminary interviews? What's your availability would be? And between you and Dr. Paris, schedule needs to be finalized so we can invite people to those preliminary interviews, that type of thing. So I hope that kind of answer your questions. As far as counting time by the hours, it's really difficult for me to gauge since I really don't know how many applications we'll be receiving. But that's just an idea of the time commitment that you will need to put in.
Understood. I'm sorry, I wasn't asking for specific hours. That gives me exactly the information. Generally, I know that it would be determined on the number of applicants for sure. Now, as
Yes.
far as the search committee is concerned, the search committee is reviewing the application and narrowing it down. As a part of that committee, is there anyone from HR and DCA that would be be included there or in that discussion? You said that we would make suggestions, or would we have a collaboration with you?
It's really up to the search committee. I have worked on a lot of executive officer recruitment, And there are search committees that would like input. And there have been time where the search committees would like to do it themselves and only require our assistant of like setting things up, such as setting interview, reaching out to applicants. I'm open either way. It's really up to the search committee on what you need from us. And we are here to provide that support, guidance, and assistance.
Fantastic. Do you have anyone else have any additional questions or? Nothing?
So if
yes.
if everyone is, if we look at Dr. McLean and Dr. Paris to be on the search committee, we would need to make a motion for that. I'll turn it over to Jason to help with that piece.
Before we make a motion, I don't know if I gave everyone the opportunity, or was there anyone else who wanted an opportunity to discuss being on the committee? I just kind of started in on other questions. I just want to make sure that everyone present, if anyone else present had an interest, that you let us know. Great. So then I'll turn it over to Jason.
So I would recommend that the board entertain a motion at this time to appoint Dr. McLean and Dr. Paris to the committee.
I'll second that motion.
We need someone to make a first. Sorry, Dr. McLean.
I will make the motion then.
And do we have a second?
I second that motion.
Any further discussion? Any public comment?
And this is the moderator. At the direction of the chair, I've opened the Q&A feature of WebEx. If you'd like to make a public comment, please click on the question mark icon, typically in the lower right corner of your WebEx screen. Or if you're on a mobile device, you can click the 3-dot other options icon to find the Q&A button. Type the word comment into the text box and hit send. Comments will be taken in the order received. We're sharing instructions on the screen. I'll give attendees a moment to locate that feature. And I see no requests for public comment. Shall I close the Q&A?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
I'd like to call for the motion, and would Dr. Paris, would you kindly, call for the vote? I'm sorry, Dr. Paris, will you call for the vote, please?
Yeah. I sure will. Dr. McLean,
Yes.
Ms. Cruz,
Yes.
Dr. Daniels,
Yes.
Mr. Sweet,
Yes.
and Dr. Paris is a yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item I have here is the revised duty statement and recruitment announcement. I would like to start first with the revised duty statement. Board members, you have received them. We highlighted in yellow areas that we may update to the duty statement. And there was language that was stricken. Some of the languages were moved to a different area that would fit with the format and make it flow a little bit better. So at this time, I would like to ask that if any members that have questions or comment, feedback, or any edit, please feel free to do so.
This is Dr. Paris. I just have a quick question.
Yes.
And if I'm ahead of the process, just let me know. But so a lot of times there's standardized questions for the interview process, and I was wondering if we will get a list of standardized questions, and then also if they would be focused around the added content in H questions, kind of querying them about management and organizational and administrative skills, good communication, etc.
Yes, absolutely. Interview questions, we do have some samples questions for you to review, and please feel free to expand from those questions. But definitely we have them to provide to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With regard to the revisions that made to the duty statement, I don't know if any other board members have any comment or feedback. If you don't, then the next document I would like to ask you to open up is the recruitment announcement. The areas that would be critical for applications to submit their application package would be the section where it said desirable qualifications and experience. All applicant will be required to submit their application and a statement of qualifications that tailor to their qualifications and their experience within this section of the announcement. Board members, please review that section and let me know if you have any input or feedback. Do I need to give more time, or can I move to the next part of the recruitment announcement?
I'm okay with you moving on.
Thank you, Dr. McLean. The next part of the recruitment announcement is the section where it's bolded, interested persons must submit the following. Number one, statement of qualifications. As I mentioned earlier, their statement of qualifications must respond to what we outlined under the desirable qualifications and experience. A standard would be a 3-page document to cover all that area. However, if the board would like to make it more than 3 pages, just please let me know. The 3-page statement of qualification is just pretty much standard for anyone who be able to express their experience and qualification in this many items that we outline and be concise to fit everything in 3 pages. We also, in addition to statement of qualifications, all applicants who apply for a state job must submit a standard state application, and we provided the link to the form so people can fill them out. We asked that they also submit their resume and a minimum of 3 letters of professional reference. This would help the search committee when you review their qualifications and their work history to make a determination on whether or not you would like to invite them to a preliminary interviews. Board members, at that point, I'm asking if you have any question or feedback on this section. So it doesn't look like we have any. The rest of it was pretty much standard and technical terms. And the final filing date, which is the application filing period, that usually end 30 days from the date that we post the job. Again, I anticipate the job will be posted on November 29th. At this time, I ask that the board approve the duty, make the motion to approve the duty statement and the recruitment announcement. Jason, please.
So as Ms. Lace said, now would be a time for the board to move to approve the revised executive officer duty statement and recruitment announcement. It will need both a first and a second.
I'll make a motion that the board approves the revised EO duty statement and recruitment announcement.
Second, Paris. Oh,
So we have a first and a second.
Yes. Any further discussion from any of the board members? Appearing that there's none. Any public comment? Moderator, will you please open it up for public comment?
This is the moderator. At the direction of the chair, I've opened the Q&A feature of WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this agenda item, please click on the question mark, typically located in the lower right corner of your WebEx screen. Or if you are on a mobile device, you can click on the 3-dot other options icon to find the Q&A button. You can type the word comment into the text box and hit send. Comments will be taken in the order received. Each commenter will have a 3-minute time limit. I'll give people a moment to locate that feature. And I see no requests for public comment at this time. Shall I close the feature?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
So hearing no public comment, the board may proceed to a roll call vote.
At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Paris if you will call for the vote, please.
sure. Calling for the vote, Dr. McLean,
Dr. McLean is yes.
Ms. Cruz,
Yes.
Dr. Daniels,
Yes.
and Mr. Sweet,
Yes.
and Dr. Paris is a yes.
Motion carries.
Board members, thank you so much. Search committee, Dr. McLean and Dr. Paris, later today, I will send you an email so you'll have my contact information. And again, we anticipate the recruitment will be posted by November 29th. Typically, we also will post this on the Capitol Morning Report and we'll send the link to Executive Officer Pulio so he can add that onto the board's website, as well as any other method of communications that the board might have, such as social media or industry newsletter list, anyone on the listserv of the board. Does anybody have any other questions for me before I leave the meeting?
As it appears there's none, I wanted to again thank you, Ms. Lee, for your assistance with this and for coming and joining us for this meeting today.
You are very welcome, and thank you for having me. I hope everyone have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you. And with that being said, I'd like to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. The time is 12:40 p.m. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming on your busy Monday and taking care of this business, and including all the board staff. So everyone have a wonderful rest of your week, and the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.